Welcome back to VenomousStare's YouTube channel, all things 2v2. Spawning in the top left hand corner of the map Sludge City, I like to call it Sick City in honor of Tastosis, is Savagewood, which is me, the blue Zerg, and his partner in crime Elusive Smoke playing Terran, opening with a gas and a barracks. And then our enemies this game, in the red, the Terran Slacker, doing this cutesy little trick where he starts the supply depot and halts production so he can have the one SCV mining but prevents the scout. And we see Savagewood with his drone scout, can't get in. And the other person, Take. Let me drop the game volume. Okay, so Elusive Smoke taking the back gold base, great move. Terran, of course, probably the race that benefits the most from the gold base. Zerg is also very good. I think Protoss, it's the least useful, but it's obviously still good. So Savagewood expanding there. The red team, Slacker, he's going to build a factory and he has a reactor going on his barracks, so if you've watched any good amount of Starcraft II, you probably know that he's going to swap them and probably start to produce Hellions. And if we look at the base of Take, he's making an Adept, has his warp gate going. He's chronoing out his mothership core, and we see a bit of a deviation here in normal play as Savagewood. He's going to be douchey and make a hatchery. It takes natural. His gold base, so he really wants this. He doesn't want to be forced to take this gold base, which is considerably more vulnerable. So he's going to send the Zealot and his mothership core out. Back in Camp Savagewood we have drones, a fully saturated main, speed starting, and more drones on the way. Now it looks like this Zealot mothership core combo will not be able to take down this hatchery. It'd be interesting to see if Savagewood waits to cancel it or lets it finish. Elusive Smoke making a starport right after his factory finishes. Take getting a robotics bay off of one gate. And we see the Hellions, of course, being produced from Slacker, as well as a second factory. Now we see a tech lab. I would guess that he's going to float this and start Blue Flame, and he's starting a starport. So we see Savagewood finish the hatchery and was not able to do make a queen, but he did make two lings. Now he needs to try to swing by and get through, and Take is not focus firing appropriately, and it looks like Savagewood will indeed get a scout. And if we go to his vision, he sees it all, boys. It's all out in the open now. And this is a really good overlord spot on this map, by the way, because you can push up on this little cliff and sometimes see what they make, but more importantly see their ramp. And we see Hellions running in for Slacker. Savagewood needs to be careful. He's going to spread his drones out here, and his queens are being mismicroed horrendously. Resident Sleeper, Savagewood micro. We see Elusive Smoke saturating his gold base, and a warp prism coming out from Take. And he has 3 gateways at this point. He's setting up his gold. Severely delayed. I would say that was worth it, that cute little hatchery play from Savagewood, because with this gold base, it kind of balances out. This is another really good overlord spot, by the way, guys, because you can spot the 4th, 3rd, and sometimes Tech if they're stupid and put it here. So we see Take, moving out with this warp prism. It's full of adepts. Now, if you don't know much about adepts, they do good damage to light units, so they're actually good in straight up fights against hydras if you have enough of them, but they're also very good for killing workers. So I haven't seen a lot of adept harass, so I'm interested to see how much damage this will do. Savagewood, he's going to focus fire the warp prism with the queen, which is the appropriate move, and he's going to pull at workers, but this is very, very bad because Take is warping in zealots and Savagewood's queen dies. So Savagewood's going to pull his drones here, and the Spire is in peril, and it will probably be focused by the zealots. Elusive Smoke sending Marauders up to help. Savagewood Zerglings being spawned. Take, he's just going to lose that warp prism, but Savagewood Spire is going to die. So Take successfully limiting Savagewood's choice of tech there and severely delaying whatever he does. And still he's doing more damage with these adepts as they had phased back into the natural. I have 4 kills, 2 kills, 5 kills, so that was a nice little harass play from Take. His Savage Wood, if we go to units, he's not in a good position. He has a relatively low amount of workers. Nice little defensive perimeter from Slacker set up here. I will say, there he goes. Usually on this map you can take this third pretty quick. Savage Wood taking the towers, already has the other one, as well as spreading creep. It's important to use your overlords to watch the side bases if you're new to the game. Elusive Smoke here with the 4 Marauder drop, which does extremely well against buildings. It kills a Hellion too, so anytime you can kill Terran add-ons, whenever you drop Harass is nice because it's a pain in the ass for them to reconstruct. And Elusive Smoke narrowly getting out there, so nice little drop play from him. We see Savage Wood has taken this base as well. He's elected to remake his Spire as well as 2 Evolution Chambers at a Baneling Nest. So Mutiling Bane coming out from him, but it's extremely delayed. As his Spire just finishes. He starts +1. Savage Wood. This is one thing you have to be careful of. That Overlord spotter is really good. I like to send another one over to block this with creep as well, because you kind of need to be able to keep this one here, and that happens. Savage Wood, who is me, didn't see this probe come out in time to block it with creep, so the expansion didn't get delayed. And as Zerg, you really have no excuse to delay those expansions. And Slacker, this little Viking play is really obnoxious. He basically just A-moves them around the corners of the map, and it severely limits the Zerg player's vision. Usually people just make one Viking and do it, but Slacker is kind of doing Mech, going this Mech composition, and he's pumping double Viking. Now, most people would do Liberators, I would say, but Vikings do cost significantly less gas. We see Take establishing this base, already having Blink Stalkers to defend. Now if he needs to put a pylon here so he can get vision and he can blink between these bases with these Stalkers, and they're actually a nice little defensive tool. But as it stands, I don't know if he has appropriate vision to blink up there if he needs to. Take is taking this tower and running into Widow Mines. Savage Wood's Queen gonna die, the heroic and ever active Savage Creep Spread Queen. And it looks like Take, this is good. Anytime you can move out with your army, especially when they're Blink Stalkers, and pressure and not really lose anything is good. However, Elusive Smoke, he puts mines kind of everywhere, which not a lot of people do. And it catches a lot of people off guard because you don't always anticipate it and move out with an observer. Usually people kind of make Widow Mines and use them like an extra infantry unit. They just kind of mass them and push with them. Elusive Smoke electing to use them more like actual mines and for zone control. And I think this is actually considerably better in 2v2 because you have the time to go through and control chokes. And you can have your ally responsible for controlling other chokes. Speaking of chokes, Take is going to attack into this one, and this is a very bad place for Zerg to engage unless he swings around the back. We see Savage Wood going for it here. Both players with 1-1 upgrades, so that really favors the Protoss. Whenever Zerg plays Zergling-based styles, the upgrades are very important. When anytime you fall behind, it's almost impossible to win. But when you're ahead, you trade very, very well. So, however, Take has Blink Stalkers, so Zergling's not really a problem, to be honest, unless he overcommits. This creep from Savage Wood is making it easier to defend this base. This base is actually very hard to defend for Zerg, because if you have a Terran opponent, they can siege up tanks and shit, and like sit up on this high ground and be obnoxious. So just be wary. This gold base is harder to defend as Zerg than you would think. Nice observer here coming forth from Take. He should probably position it up on this ledge. Actually, he's going to clear creep with it, which is an even better idea. Savage Wood's going to come forward with this Ling Bane here, and This is kind of what I was talking about. Take is never really at any risk against a Zergling army with no infestors because he can just blink away. And we see these Vikings on their little, and you don't even have to micro these. You can just queue up A move commands. It's very good. If you're a Terran player and you're new to the game against Zerg, you should try doing that. We see Elusive Smoke. He's going to stem forward here, take this tower. Elusive Smoke. He very frequently talks about the importance of taking towers. And we see Slacker with this substantial mech army with the significant tank backbone, taking a fourth as well. Going to scan here as Slacker and clear some of the Savage Wood's creep. And if we look in Camp Savage Wood, he does have an Ultralisk Cavern coming down. It looks like a possible engage here. Some storms coming down from Take. Wow, storms coming onto the Muta with Thor shots. That's a lot of damage. Muta's not very good at straight up fighting. And if we look in the main Spencer, Elusive Smoke doing a droopy drop. And they're going to back off is the Out Now boys. And Elusive Smoke's drop is going to do some damage here. And if we look in Camp Savage Wood, he has Hive Tech, Greater Spire on the way, Ultralisk. Hopefully he's going to start 3-3 soon. And Slacker, he's actually going to fly his Vikings over, which is unique to say the least. Elusive Smoke being obnoxious as he's known to do. Stimming again. He's going to try to mow down these probes. Look at these Marines. They're really putting their heart into it, guys. And if we look mid-map, some creep is being cleared, and Mutalisks that Savage would pretty obviously miss hotkeyed were sitting out in the middle of the map to die for free. However, Savage Wood has 4 Ultras on the way and already has some out. If we go to the Units tab, he's also built Infestors, which are very, very helpful when you go Ultras because you have to deal with the other person kiting you around. This is an upgrade that people used to forget in Wings of Liberty all the time. Adrenal glands, but they buffed it, so now whenever you go Hive Tech you should always get this because you're frequently going to be making Zerglings and it's so good. Like, you can just make a few lings and have them counterattack a base, and if they have adrenal glands they'll do absurd damage. So the Out Now clan, knowing about this choke point, having static defense and mines there, is Take Zealots are taking horrendous damage right out the gate, and his Templar get flanked. Savage Wood finally adequately, and that's a glitch by the way, these Ultras are attacking, that's just a visual glitch. Savage Wood was finally flanking, and if we look at Elusive Smoke here, he's just going to rip this army apart. A Slacker had his thumb up his ass and his army unsieged. And of course those Blink Stalkers blinked away. So nice little preemptive defense there, helped the Out Now boys a lot prevent the Protoss army from just ramp running them there. And if we look at Elusive Smoke here, he's going to kill this PF and shut down all that mining. And this is that infamous Terran PF that's desperately needed, that they have like 24 SCVs only mining mineral zone that we've all seen so many times. And when you break that base, the third's usually oversaturated right after, and you're usually in a really good position to win the game. And if we look at the Out Now clan, they're just taking lots of corner bases. Look at Elusive Smoke. Brilliant macro here with all these barracks. Not being afraid to say, hey, fuck it, I'm on a lot of bases. I'll just make a lot of barracks so I can replenish almost instantly. That's what you should be doing, ladies and gentlemen. He has a ton of minerals, as he needs to hotkey all these barracks and get them pumping. Savage Wood here looks like he's posturing to flank from this ramp with his infestors and then come sweep forward with his army. As he doesn't want to get kited by Blink Stalkers. Take. He knows this base is in danger. He's warping in. He senses a fight brewing. And if we see Elusive Smoke, he has a drop going. Here we go, Savage Wood. Oh, big droopy fungal. Skill Banes rolling into everything. 1 Flaccid Storm, 2 Flaccid Storm, and another fungal going down. Ultras just ripping everything apart with the +3 just kicking in. Absolutely filthy, and Elusive Smoke kills this base in the process. And Archon mows down an Infestor, but it doesn't even matter. And this is a visual bug that they look like they're dancing. but they are swiping. If you look at the HP bar, they drop. And Lucius Smoke, he's going to do a Droom drop in the main of his red Terran opponent, and he's going to do an insane amount of damage. And Savage would threw forth a lot of infested Terran there, and that's the game. So the Out Now boys take it. If you enjoyed it, subscribe.